As far as great Australian runners go, she's one of our greatest, so it comes as no great surprise that the great Cathy Freeman is an ambassador for the Great Australian Run.
Yes, Cathy and sporting commentator David Culbert join us now to explain what the event is and why we should take part. Good morning to you both.
Hello.
Morning.
It was rather a quick entry for
Someone very fast. You're very slow getting up here. Listen, just before we get into this, I noticed, David, that you were a long jumper.
I used to be a long jumper. In fact, Cathy and I used to live together. Well, we lived in the same house together a long time ago when we were both in our prime, and now we're just hacks who are running for fun.
At what point in a boy's life does he decide, hey, I'm going to be a long jumper?
Well, when you realise you're not the fastest over the 100, you move through the event. So Cathy went to 400, I went to the long jump. Some people end up as marathon runners and the rest take up swimming. That's how it works.
And you have to look at the size of your feet, don't you?
Well, it's more how far you
good,
can jump,
feet.
and you love being a winner, don't you? And I'm sure Cathy was the same because she was a fantastic sprinter and hurdler in her younger days, and then you realise that you can't win the 100, so you move up to the 200, and then you finished at the 400.
Yeah, but I remember chatting with your coach, Mike Danella. Remember when you were at the international school at Coralvin? Yeah, and I remember him saying you were running around. He said, look at that. That's a long-distance stride if ever I've seen it.
There you go.
Took you a while to come around, though.
Too bad my concentration levels aren't the same. But anyway.
Just before we move on again, has long jumping helped you in your day-to-day life at all? Does it get you out of the castle quickly if the drawbridge is not down? Or
not so much the long jumping, but certainly the discipline of being an elite athlete has, and I'm sure Catherine's found the same thing, that you set goals and you work towards them, and it's the steps that you need to go through, and all of those things certainly play a part on a day-to-day basis. But boy, we've got a big challenge on our hands now because, well, Catherine does. She's going to run 15k. I'm only running 2k with my family, so for me it'll be easy. But I'm scared about that.
You are going to run the
yes. The big announcement, yes. I'll try.
We're talking about the Great Australian Run, and which happens in Melbourne.
Yes.
But you don't have to run it. It's not just for elite athletes.
Oh, well, have a look at us. It's for people like us. No, it's a 15k fun run, walk, jog, stroll, whatever it might be. There's an elite end of it, and we've got the the last two Olympic champions in the men's marathon will be competing. So that's the front of the race.
Yes.
But at the back of the race, even people like Craig Mottram, and here's Haile Gebrselassie running last year, the world's greatest distance runner. But Craig Mottram, who's probably our biggest distance running star, he's just jogging this year. So he's going to fight with Catherine at the back of the pack to see if he can get to the finish line.
But Cathy, what's it like for you to do... I mean, 15k's, you're not used to running 15k's.
No, not at all.
Not even at the height of your training?
Not at all.
You've never run? What's the furthest you've ever run?
Oh, 12k, but that was sort of a last-minute snap decision because I looked around and I saw so many sort of not so fit-looking people, and I thought, geez, I can actually do this. So I did it, yeah.
So are you training at all for this?
I'm sensitive. We don't call it training. I call it just getting some running into the legs, so the distance stuff.
What does that mean?
What does that mean, exactly? 45 minutes every third day.
45 minutes every third day? And how far do you run?
Oh, well, I guess
in 45 minutes.
8k or not, something like that. 8 to 10,
8k,
something like that.
You'll nail it.
Oh, gee, thanks, Kim.
Does it sort of fill you with... Does it fill you with fear to know... I mean, you were saying that when you were running, you were looking around saying, all these people are unfit, I can probably do this.
I was inspired,
But they're looking at you going, hey, if I can keep up with Cathy Freeman, I'm doing all right.
Oh, most people will pass me. I'll give you the tip. So, I'm just going to have a ball because if I can get through the mental stuff, I think I'll be OK.
Yeah.
The mental fear.
I've never run 15k's without stopping.
You should come down and have a try.
You should. Yeah.
Not enough time to train for it would be irresponsible
6 weeks, you'll be fine. Look at you, you're a picture of fitness.
Yes.
What's the aim? It's just to, get people out, get people running?
Well, raise money for charity is one element of it, but it's the personal challenge. And I actually ran a marathon back in 2000, and it was unbelievable, the challenge. And I lost about 20k in training for it. You've got to take that seriously. Last weekend we saw the Melbourne Marathon. There's over 30,000 people. And at the moment we've got 30,000 people in Sydney participating in the World Masters Games. So there's this real movement of just the challenge. And Catherine I should say,
okay.
is the typical example of the challenge. Never run 15K in her life. Olympic gold medalist, world champion, but she set herself the challenge of running a 15-kilometre, and it's not a race for her. It's just a challenge to get to the finish line, and as that part of that process, she can top up her fitness or lose some weight. Not that she needs to do so. So the motivation depends on who you are.
Cathy, you said you were doing a bit of training. 45 minutes. You reckon you could do 8 kilometres? How quickly, or how quickly do you expect these elite athletes to get around the Albert Park track or do the 15Ks?
Well, they'll do it less than 45 minutes.
That's amazing.
For the 15K for the elite end, but at the back end there'll be people that'll take an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Walk. And that doesn't matter. Yeah.
And the course is measured exactly to 15K, so it's an opportunity for all of those people who did it last year to test themselves. And if you jump in this year, you can come back next year and test yourself.
Yeah, it's a good day to get out with a family. While we've got you, I really want to talk to you about your work on Palm Island.
Yeah, sure.
Tell us about Palm Island and why you've been involved with the Cathy Freeman Foundation.
Oh, okay. Well, Palm Island is a community made up of 46 different Aboriginal tribes, and it was all established in 1913. 71 years ago, nearly 71 years ago, my mother was born there, and my mother is just this voice in my head. You've got to never forget who you are, where you're from, yes, Ma. And, and so I decided 3 years ago that I wanted to establish the Cathy Freeman Foundation, all about well, making the most of the fact that I represent a possibility and making a connection with young Indigenous kids and helping to provide an opportunity for them to realise their potential. So.
What opportunities are there for school leavers on Palm Island?
Oh, there's ample opportunities. There's plenty of support. It's really quite inspiring and incredible. Whether you have all of these different agencies. The government's fantastic, although I better not say that too loosely because there's still a fair bit of work to do in that department.
Yes, exactly.
So, but through my foundation, we've got 4 programs. www.catherinefreemanfoundationwebsite.com.
You were there recently handing out some bikes.
Yeah.
What was that for?
Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah. Well, it's all to do with incentivising kids to get their behinds to school, even though the challenges...
You've got to get them there, don't you?
Yeah, even though the challenges of leaving home can be quite unimaginable for us who are privileged enough to have safe homes, I guess. Yeah. It allows the parents to be incentivised as well. So, and it's been a good learning experience, good impact, I think. So
you mentioned government support before. Obviously, it's not easy to run your own foundation. It would need a lot of funds. It would need a lot of support.
Absolutely.
Are government bodies good at supporting your foundation?
Well, we've only had our first serious sort of senior government meeting last week, funnily enough, with the Premier of Queensland, Anna Bligh. So we met with the Minister, Desley Boyle, and Will, I think, is Anna's sort of sidekick, right-hand man. So we've only had initial conversations, so we'll see what happens. I expect to see some sort of positive outcome.
Terrific.
There you go.
It's great work. It's great work.
Thank you.
Yeah, terrific.
And good luck to the both of you. Of course, if you would like to compete, you can jump onto the website to compete in the Great Australian Run.
Thank you both for your time this morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you.